And we'll start with a roll call.
Louis Puga.
Mark LePage here.
Roger Trahan.
Nicole Sharamonte.
All right. Hey, before we get to the NOI, kind of pertinent to what we almost started talking about earlier, and this popped into my head when we were talking about the minutes last time. Not that we all don't know this, but this stuff is on record, and people go back, and a lot of people go and watch the video, they review the notes. So just good to keep in mind, as we're going through comments. I was looking at it wasn't anything appropriate, but I was just looking at something that I had said and seeing it in black and white associated with my name. I'm like, wow, people are reading that. So just something to think about to the conversation earlier. No issue, but good to be aware, right? All right, so for the NOIs tonight, we're got Liberty Way, which we had pushed 2 weeks. We had that new process, which this ended up being a good candidate for, so we don't need to do anything there. We've got, so we'll open the NOI for Louise Drive, and I think we're gonna end up looking to continue that Bricolage, right? We're just...
Yeah, ultimately, but I do see Tom Schultz from Goddard Consulting online.
All right, excellent. Tom, how you doing?
How's it going? Sorry, I couldn't make it in. The roads were a little
That's
bad,
all right.
so I had
Understandable.
to do it on Zoom today. But just wanted to hop on and give a brief update for the
Appreciate
project.
that.
Myself has not been on in front of you guys in quite some time, so just want to give you an opportunity to tell you where I stand and where the project stands. But we just submitted our second peer review response letter to Beta. I talked to Bricolage about it earlier this week, and she indicated that Beta and herself are currently in review of that letter and are hoping to respond sometime in the near future. So we would like to request a continuance until the next meeting to allow us some time or allow Beta some time to finish up their response letter, and then us to then respond as needed. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
You feel like that looks pretty good to get that accomplished by the 20th, Tom? If not, we can extend it out 2 meetings. If you're good, we'd rather get it on the agenda and get it done, but just asking in case you need more time.
At this point, we haven't received our comment letter from Beta yet,
Okay.
so it's kind of up to them on when they can get it back to us. If we can get the letter next week, we're hoping to then respond as needed before the meeting and discuss with the Conservation Commission after that.
All right,
I don't think there should be too many comments or left on there for the wetlands related stuff. The stormwater, that had a delay. The first review letter went out during the second wetlands review, so there may be some stormwater related questions that are left, but as far as I can tell, and Bricolage, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it seems as though we're pretty close to the finish line for the wetlands part of the peer review. And I think we're in agreement on most of the things between Beta, myself, and the agent.
Yeah, let's leave it on. Yeah, go. I'd say that. Well, let's go at the next meeting. Just asking, right? That's all. It's an option for
Yep.
you, really. So, okay. Bricolage, anything?
My only comments are directed towards the commission and then also for you, Tom. So the commission, as a reminder, you do have a 1 week in advance submission deadline. So that means Beta would need to respond tomorrow or Monday to give Tom and Goddard at least 2 business days to respond. I don't know your workload, Tom. They are relatively close, so it could come tomorrow. I will check in with Beta again. I can promise that. But then also as a reminder, the commission's also reviewing stormwater. So this isn't in front of planning board at this time. So whether or not the wetland side is wrapped up by the 20th, ultimately permit approval, you'll need to have stormwater as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if those comments change that scheduling that you two were doing.
What say you, Tom?
I'd like to have it on the next one. We're going to try as hard as we can to get something in before the 1 week deadline. It really depends on when we get the letter to
Okay.
see how quick we can get that back in. but I'd like to keep it on the next agenda just in case, and wishful thinking that we can turn this around pretty quickly and get this all taken care of.
Okay, good, fair enough. That's why we ask. Any questions?
I don't know at this point.
Anybody on Zoom that has any questions? All right, with that, Louis, you want to give us a motion to continue?
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for Louise Drive to, what did we say, February 20th?
Yep.
At 7:03 PM.
Second, is it 7:03 or 7:02?
It's 7:03. The commission continued 55 Constitution to 7:02. But I just noticed I didn't adjust all the rest of them. I was paying attention to the date. Didn't
Good catch.
Didn't adjust the time.
Good catch, all right.
So which time are we going?
7:03.
You have it.
7:03?
Yeah,
Okay.
So we're good,
You're
so
good. Second,
vote, Louis?
Vote to continue?
continue.
Continue.
Vote to continue, all right. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we'll open up the NOI for Lot 160 Spring Street. So what we thought we would do with Spring Street here is not open up any discussion. I don't think there's anybody online to talk about Spring Street, right?
They requested a continuance.
Right, they requested continuance. That way, we don't run into quorum issues if we don't open a discussion. So the recommendation is, if you guys are good with it, just to continue.
You do have to ask for public comment, though.
But good point. So, and is there anybody, there's nobody here in the audience live, so is there anybody in Zoom that would like to comment on Lot 160 Spring Street? All right, we're good. Roger, you want to give us a motion there?
We'll give you a motion to continue Lot 160 Spring Street to February 20th at 7:04.
7:04, all right. We get a second on that?
Vote to continue?
I'll get a second.
Get us second.
All right, now vote.
Vote to continue.
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 All right, vote to continue. And we'll open up the NOI for lots 3 on 60 Spring Street. Any public comment on that? No public comment. Nicole, you want to give us a motion on that one?
Second that motion to continue.
Just give us a, yeah, or not a second, just a motion,
Second,
motion to continue the NOI. Come on, go for it, you got it.
motion to continue, lot 3 on 60 Spring Street.
Perfect, good work.
Second,
All right,
Vote to continue?
continue.
Continue.
vote to continue. All right, nice work. All right. So now, we can move on to the NOI for the Prospect Street culvert repair. Anybody here from the town on that?
They did request a
Yeah,
continuance.
they're requesting
Late.
continuance.
Yeah, late this afternoon, for the commission at the suggestion of your vice chair. A work session was requested once we get a beta letter, just to try and move this along a little bit quicker. So I have communicated that request to Mike Maglio, town engineer, and Brooke Morcanelli, the assistant town engineer. But we're just waiting for that beta letter to have something substantial to talk about.
Yeah, we just thought, this is, it's going on a bit, so just to sit down and go through some of the comments, I was looking through some of them. I think there's some easy procedural stuff we could discuss that hopefully we get them in and then make a decision on this. So that was what we thought we'd do. Any public comment on the Prospect Street culvert repair? All right, hearing none. Louis, you're up. You want to give us a continuation on that NOI?
I vote to continue the NOI for Prospect Street culvert repair to February 20th at 7:05 PM.
All right, can we get a second on it?
Second.
Yep. So let's get a vote.
Vote to continue?
Continue.
Continue.
All right, vote to continue. So again, Constitution is one we moved out 2 weeks, so we don't need to open that. then we've got 124, 126 Grove Street. And do we have anybody here from Grove Street?
Hi, Mike Hassett from Gary and Halmon on Zoom.
Mike, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you. What's happening?
You as well. Yes. We're still working our way through the conservation and planning board peer review letters. We had a working session with Mike Maglio, Bricolai, Gary from Beta, yourself, and Nicole from Goddard last week. We made some pretty good progress on, coming to an agreement on the best way to address the combined interests of stormwater planning and conservation. And so we're working through that. One of the requests that we had was to do additional soil testing, just to confirm the infiltrative capacity of the existing basins. We needed to speak with you tonight just to get your sign off on it. 2 of the test pits are within the 50 to 100 foot buffer of the interior wetlands to the basin, number 2, which is the one in the southeast of the corner. I can share my screen if that's all right, Bricolai?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yep.
One more. You can request it of me, that's nice.
Okay, looks like it's gonna let me now.
Now you're coming up.
Here we go. All right, so just to help you orient on the site, this is the existing building. This is the existing basin. We're doing some more testing up in this one, but that's way outside the wetland buffer. And so the 2 of interest are down in here. And so really only one is actually inside the buffer. It's this one here. This one is just outside the buffer zone. So we're just looking to do another test pit, in situ permeability testing, to get the exact recharge rate of the basin to assist our model. So just want to give you a heads up that we need to do that and then get your sign off for us to perform the work.
Any questions on that?
No.
Bricolai, any? Just as a comment, I'd say we had a really productive work session with these guys, and I think there's some potential great progress here. And, so appreciate, Mike, you being flexible, and I think this is one of those steps we're looking to try and figure this out. So, I think the recommendation is to go ahead and approve that, unless you guys have any level of discomfort or question with that. Okay. So procedurally, Bricolai, we're not approving the NOI, we're just voting to approve the test pits, right?
Yep, and then we would just include it as the proposed scope of work for the notice of intent. So typically, this is an exempt, it's a minor buffer zone activity exemption through the Wetlands Protection Act, test pits are, so long as they're not crossing wetlands or test pitting in wetlands. So it is not exempt under local bylaw. Typically, what I would have suggested, if they didn't have a current filing, is either an RDA or an MBZA, depending on how many test pits, which is why you've previously seen RDAs for test pits,
Right.
just to alleviate the burden of paperwork and time. My suggestion was to just roll it into the current public hearing, and then it becomes part of the proposed scope of work. So you are essentially granting permission to move ahead with test pits prior to the entire permit being.
Right. So do we need to take a formal vote on that, or just show it?
You could put it on record if you wanted, but it's not, yes, it's not like
Yeah.
a formal vote.
I think the move is just to have some kind of on the record, maybe just show of hands that we're comfortable giving approval for the test pits as part of the NOI, and then we'll continue the NOI. So are all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, so Mike, we're good with the test pits, right?
Yep.
All right. Anything else you were looking to accomplish tonight on that?
No, that was it. Now that we have the permission to move ahead, I'll work with our geotech. I anticipate that we could perform the testing as early as next week.
Okay. Any public comments on 124, 126 Grove Street? All right, hearing none. Roger, we're up to you. We'll take a continuation.
I'll give you a recommendation to continue 124, 126 Grove Street to February 20th at 7:07.
Got a second?
Second.
All right.
Vote to continue.
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 Vote to continue. Mike, thanks,
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
keep moving forward.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Bye.
You as well.
All right, so we'll open the NOI for 1 Paddock Lane. Anybody here from 1 Paddock Lane?
Yep, Tom Schutz on Zoom is here for
Hey,
One
Tom.
Paddock Lane from Goddard Consulting. How's it going? I am filling in for Chris Fratarelli, who's feeling ill tonight, so I'm gonna give a brief update, kind of similar to the last one. We received the beta comments and are currently working through those. Chris did submit an interim update to the notice of intent, and that included an updated site plan that was outside of the review of beta, but seemed like they can reduce some of the wetland impacts. Some of the changes that were notable from this submittal site plan included the footprint of the work was moved to eliminate the need for wetland fill and replication. The driveway and the turnaround was relocated, and it
Tom,
ended up shrinking the overall limit of lawn. Yep,
can I just ask you a quick question? So
Sure.
is what you're referring to the letter you guys submitted on January 31st?
that is correct, yep.
So I was just curious, based on what you're going through and kind of the discussion, in the letter, it looked like the impact square footage was exactly the same as the original plan. Am I reading that accurately?
Let me just read through this. Are you talking about the letter or the actual site plan itself?
So I've got the letter and I've got the original site plan, and it looks like the square footage impacts match exactly. And again, you guys can propose what you want. I thought we had talked about was a reduction in footprint, which I maybe erroneously suspected would have reduced the impact there. But
I don't know if I can specifically talk to that. This is just a project I'm giving an update for. I'm
Okay.
filling in for Chris, so don't know 100%, but I do know that now there's no need for any wetland replication or fill, so they're pulling it back out of the wetland itself, so gonna prevent any impacts to that, which is better than I believe the original submittal was. I can't speak to the square footage of impacts to the buffer zone itself or the square footage of the proposal, the house and driveway, et cetera. I don't know those off the top of my head, but I can talk to Chris and he can then submit additional information to the Concom. And we
So-
are going to be submitting the beta review letter comments soon too, so hopefully it's addressing that.
So because originally you were looking at filling 197.5 square feet of a wetland, and then another 5.5, right? So you're saying you're not gonna fill those anymore? Or you?
Correct.
Oh,
No
okay.
more wetland fill is needed for this
Okay.
project based on the revised site plan.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry, just while we were talking, you were kind of going the way I thought we were, but some of the black and white said different. So thank you, I'm sorry to interrupt, keep going.
That was essentially the end of the update. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, we'd be looking to continue to the next hearing to allow us time to submit our responses to Beta's letter.
So do you know, or have there, what the impact within the 25-foot and the 50-foot buffer would be based on the new footprint?
I don't, but I can certainly share my screen to show you the site plan.
All right, that'd be awesome.
Okay, hopefully everybody can see this site plan here. So originally, there was wetland fill located in this portion
Right.
of this bordering vegetated wetland. That has now been essentially pulled back or to a couple feet around with a retaining wall. So
Okay.
now there's not gonna be any wetland fill at all. I don't know the exact square footage of impacts to the 25-foot buffer zone or the 100-foot buffer zone. I could have Chris quantify those, and then bring it back to the next hearing. But this is essentially the revised site plan that was submitted with the letter showing reduction in the wetland impact itself, and then the revised driveway and turnaround.
So Chris, has the deck been moved, or, because that was within the 25-foot buffer zone, I thought.
So it appears the deck is still within the 25-foot buffer zone here. Unless there's a different deck that I'm not aware of, it appears that it's still within the 25-foot buffer. But again, we're still responding to some of these peer review comments, so this may come up in Beta's review as well, and site plan changes may take place. I'm not 100% sure where Chris is, kind of lies with this whole review, but I know he's taking care of it and hopefully gonna get it in before the next commission meeting, and I'll relay any of these questions to him as well.
So is it possible you'd be willing to not put the deck on to get it out of that 25-foot area?
Again, I don't want to speak to the clients, what the client's looking to do, or what Chris is currently or writing up in the response letter, but I can transmit that communication that you'd look to see the deck outside of the 25-foot buffer zone, for sure.
Yeah, I'd like to see that, but I'll
Okay.
wait for his comments.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looks like, I'm looking at the map here, looks like it's, yeah, it's still right there in the 25 foot, okay. All right, well, you know, Tom, thanks for the update, and any other questions?
No, just looking at the before and, what had changed from the original plan.
Right.
So it looks like the turnaround had switched over to the,
Other side.
from the west to the east. And then the retaining wall? Basically that, between the deck and the retaining wall, that distance got shortened, is that correct? And
Yeah, it looks like they shrunk the limit of the lawn in the rear, so it's gonna kind of lessen the amount of proposed work within the buffer zone itself and shrink the footprint of the work.
okay.
Yeah, it looks like they, like you said, switch the turnaround, tighten up the retaining wall to the driveway on that side.
And that reduced it, so,
Right.
okay.
Would they also be adding,
Oh, here it is.
submit survey markers for that 25-foot buffer zone for future owners, or is that not in the
I can-
plans?
I can make that suggestion to Chris and relay that message to him.
Thank you.
So what was the delta change in, I'm sorry, I must have missed it. What was the delta number between the before and after?
I don't think he knew.
Oh, okay, you didn't know? Okay,
That's, we gotta,
okay.
right, I don't wanna speak for you, Tom, but I thought when I asked you, you weren't certain on what the buffer zone implications are currently, right?
Yes, I don't know what the buffer zone implications are, but it appears that there was originally a 202 square foot request to fill the wetland with a 545 square foot wetland mitigation area. Those are now both removed, no
Right.
more
Right.
mitigating or filling. So I know that information. I don't know the exact square footage of how much impact to the 50, 25, and 100 foot buffer zones there are, but
Okay.
I'll have Chris quantify those numbers and write them up
Okay.
for you for the next.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
copy.
that'd be good.
I saw it on the original drawing there. It was called out,
Right.
filling and everything. I just didn't see it in the new one, so if that's something maybe you can update as well. Get more
Okay.
clarity on that. I don't have anything else right now.
Yeah, you might wanna update the letter, right, that came in. I think it all, if I'm looking at the right letter, it's dated January 31st, and it still has all the original impacts, just as a heads up. But up to you guys, right? Okay. Regal Eye, any?
Any
Oh, sorry.
comments?
You want-
No, I didn't know if anybody else.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody online have a comment?
Yes, please. This is John Detterman. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, John.
Okay. Hi there. I think the discussion about the 25, 50, and 100 is very important and needs clarification because there was discussion about the deck and the placement within that 25-foot zone. And I'm not an expert at reading these maps, but what I'm looking at shows that the house is actually sitting within the 25-foot zone. That green line, if you follow it along from the deck, it actually splits right through the house. So that's comment number one. So I would really want clarification on all of those lines and the impacts. My second comment is I'm very surprised for a project that claims to be focused on protecting the wetlands, that the driveway is proposed to be asphalt versus something that would be pervious. And my third comment is in the agent's update, we need to be very clear that the applicant is not of Franklin, and he is listed as on behalf of his name, comma, Franklin, Mass. He's not a resident of Franklin.
Thank you. Just making a note, okay. Thank you, John. Anybody else? And by the way, as we're asking the question, John, because same question, we want to make sure we understand the buffer zone impact as well. So we'll certainly want to.
And I just wanted to point out because the deck seemed to be a focus, but if you follow the line around it, it literally splits under the house.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a comment as well.
All right, Renata, please.
Hi, how are you? Renata Galarova, 38 Palomino Drive. So I was reading through the beta review, and from what I gathered, and I believe that's based on the first plan that they submitted. There was the 202 square feet of the bordering vegetated wetlands area affected. There was about 4,275 square feet of 25-foot buffer zone, 5,289 square 50-foot buffer zone, and 3,501 square feet of 100-foot buffer zone affected by this project. So when you add all those numbers, it came to a third of an acre of affected wetlands area. I don't know if I can pull up what page it was on, but the numbers were there somewhere because it was on page 2 and 3 of the beta reporting. So it just seems like yes, they scaled it down, quote unquote, to not be within the 202 square feet. However, the house size seems the same. They just shrunk the lawn around it, and the impact is still pretty great. So I just wanted to point that out. That's concern. And I think that's that for today. Thank you.
Yeah, and again, Renata, yeah, we're very similar. That's some of the questions we want to make sure we have a grip on is the impact in all those buffer zones. So Tom is going to work with Chris to get us an update on that for the next time we take a look at this, but good call out. Any other comments from the public?
Yep, I just wanted to follow up about the agent report. So that the top portion of all my agent report is what's circulated in the legal ad. Unfortunately, that's published. I don't change it. Additionally, application Information like that is what is also given to me and what's on the Wetlands Protection Act form, and he's still the property owner. So unfortunately, we can't discriminate against Franklin non-residents if they own property in Franklin. I don't list, you know, his current mailing,
100%.
his current mailing address, for example, but the property is still in Franklin, and the representing body is still a Franklin parcel.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so, Tom, appreciate the update, and appreciate you guys continuing to work on making adjustments. Just be interested, as I think we all talked about, in what the actual buffer zone impacts are. Looks like, to your point with the plan, the BVW has been taken out of play, which is good news. So we just look to see the impact in the 25, 50, and 100s. That'd be great. Make sense?
Yep, thank you.
All right. With that, Nicole, you want to give us another motion to continue?
Give you a motion to continue for the NOI for 1 Paddock Lane to February 20th at 7:08.
Second.
All right,
Vote to continue.
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 vote to continue. Thanks, Tom. All right, so with that, we are on to the ANRAD for 444 East Central Street. Do we have anybody here from 444 East Central Street?
I'm assuming.
Tom Schutz, Goddard Consulting, is also here for that project.
Tom, you drew all the straws tonight, huh?
I know, I was the one guy going to Franklin tonight.
All right, what do you got?
So similar to the last one, we received beta comments and we are currently working through those. It seems like we're pretty close to submitting a new response letter to that, and it seems like us and beta are pretty close on what we think is going on out there. So we should have a response letter to you soon, and we'd like to request a continuance to the next possible hearing.
Yeah, I'll just provide an update since I didn't,
Yeah.
John and I didn't have the letter prepared before last time. So we did actually go out together. This is one site that we reviewed together, and we didn't find many issues with the line, which is actually surprising for an ANRAD. So there are a few things you could note on the last page of Beta's letter. When did this come in? I don't know if you had time to review it yet since it came in last Friday, one day after the deadline. Couple things to note. It's not suggested, nor is it proper procedure for the commission to demarcate the boundary for degraded riverfront area. So that was included in the initial application, so it's my suggestion to take it out. That's reflected in the beta letter. And then there are a few other facts of findings that we suggested and put in here upon ANRAD or ORAD issuance. So, but it's a very short letter, so it shouldn't take you too long to read.
All right. Any questions from the commission? Any questions online from the public? All right, so at this point, Tom, looking to continue? That makes sense?
Yes.
All right. Lou, you're up.
Motion to continue the ANRAD for 444 East Central Street to February 20th at 7:09 PM.
Get a second?
Second.
All right.
Vote to continue.
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 All right, vote to continue. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
And next, we have the NOI for 7 Charles River Drive. Do we have anybody here from Charles River?
Yes, Karen Skinner-Catroni.
Hello, Karen.
Hello.
What do
So
you
we
have?
were before you at the last, I'm sorry. Go
Oh, I
ahead.
was just gonna say, what do you have for us?
So we were before you at the last meeting. The owners of 7 Charles River Drive are proposing a pool in their side yard. All work is outside the 50-foot. At the last meeting, we had just a GIS plan, and the commission wasn't satisfied with that. So we had a new plan done. I can show you that if you'd like.
Yeah.
can I share my screen, Rickley?
Yep, it's coming.
So, this is much better. So I did go through the whole presentation at the last meeting. Do you want me to go through the details or
Yep,
again? Okay. All right, so the pool is posed outside the 50-foot buffer within a lawn
hey
area.
Karen,
Yes?
are you, you're not sharing right now, did you think you were?
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. Let me just get back out of this. I am not sharing, huh? Let's see, back in here. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Can you see that now?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so, the owners are proposing a pool, an in-ground pool outside the 50-foot buffer. The area was flagged in September of 2024. They're proposing a pool in this area. The patio is gonna be pavers, and it's gonna be 400 square feet. They're going to use a filter cartridge. The cartridge, I'm sorry, will be a filter cartridge, which doesn't require backwashing. There's no stockpiling on the site. All excavated materials will be loaded into a truck and taken off the site. There's no tree removal required for this. There's no riverfront, natural heritage, or floodplain associated with the project. I don't know if there's anything I missed. Oh, I did submit a construction sequence plan with the original filing, and a compost sock is proposed. A compost sock and construction fence are proposed as erosion control. And obviously, the driveway will be used as the access, the construction access. I do have the installer or the, I have Paul from VNL Pools here. If you have any questions about the construction, he'd be happy to answer that. Otherwise, I'll answer any other questions you have.
Rigalai,
Thank you, Karen. So this plan was just delivered to me today, so I haven't reviewed the project considering this plan in its entirety, which is why, Karen, you haven't received anything yet from me. But I did want to call out to you and to the commission, section 4.4 of the regs for the 50 to 100 foot buffer zone resource area. Mitigation offsets for more than 30% of the 50 to 100 foot buffer zone resource area is proposed to be impervious surface. So what I would suggest is just running calcs of how much that is, because then the commission, per the regulations, can require mitigation offsets, such as plantings, pervious surfaces, and other, best practices. There's also a variance procedure subsequently outlined then in section 5, if you do need a waiver from that. The resource area impact form was also missing from the application, so that is required. It's on our website for our NOI submissions as well. Vernal pool statement, and then generally just a project narrative, which is outlined in section 7.9. I know you included a single page for the functions and characteristic statements in 710, but a stronger narrative would be nice if possible. And then additionally, if you do have to do, or if your client would like you to do a variance request, the regulations do call out an alternatives analysis with that variance request. These are all things that the commission may waive, of course, but this is what you have outlined in your regs thus far. But with that, I won't speak to too much more since I just got this plan today.
so potentially, the pool itself being the impervious surface, right, we'd be looking at,
You can make that determination if it's pervious or impervious. It does hold water, so if it rains, it's just gonna stay there.
right.
But it would be the pavers surrounding it. But then you'd have to include the house and, the house as well, so however
Ah,
rough calc that is, yep.
okay.
He did do the calculations.
Are they on the, they're on the plan then? Because again, I just got the plan today, so I haven't had a chance to look at it at all.
Isn't it just listed on the right-hand side? The structure, 25%, and pavement?
35%, yeah, so that falls within that mitigation offset.
Yeah.
So that's.
And they are gonna be, they are gonna be pervious pavers as well.
Okay, that's fine. So unfortunately, my review has happened already well before I got this plan. The submission deadline to have new information reviewed and to have been presented at a public hearing would have been last Thursday.
Okay.
So this is why it's probably inconsistent, and I can't speak to anything on the plan because I haven't had a chance to review it.
So the good news is we get a plan, right? Last time we'd asked for dimensions, you've got that, you've got it laid out. So we've got to analyze the submission now. I think are we comfortable with the delineation, Regalai, or is that something we're still looking at, or?
I haven't had a chance to go out.
Right, yeah, so we got a couple things we got to work on, but this is progress and against what we asked for, so that's the good news. Questions from the?
No, this time.
What's, I didn't see it specified on the drawing. What's your erosion control currently?
Compost sock.
Compost soft, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Good call. Okay. Any question, or anything more, Karen, that you wanted to present?
Unless you have questions, no, I'm
No.
good.
I think we're good. Any comments, questions from the public? All right, Louis, you're up.
Okay.
Take motion to continue. Actually, I'm sorry, so Karen, are you, well, I guess we'll get a formal response so she knows what she needs, right? So-
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so we'll just go ahead.
Sure.
I'm sorry?
I was gonna say, are you clear on what you need next steps, but we'll give you a response
Yes.
in writing that'll outline it. So you'll get that in response to this. So we don't need to verbalize that tonight, unless you have.
Okay, great.
Yeah, okay.
Nope, I'm good.
I make a motion to continue the NOI for 7 Charles River Drive to February 20th at 7:10 PM.
Second,
Vote to continue?
continue.
Continue?
Vote to continue. All right, thanks,
Thank you.
Karen.
Thank you so much. Here, I'll stop screening, stop sharing, there we go. Have a great night.
Yep.
Thank you.
Cheers, bye-bye. All right, now we open the ANRAD for 47 Partridge Street. Do we have anybody here from Partridge Street, 47 Partridge Street?
No, and not surprising, there's no update at this time. I was talking to the representative of the applicant. We're similarly waiting for snow melt. Unfortunately, the past 2 weeks,
Yeah.
it's been mighty difficult to get an auger in, so
Okay.
we're in a holding pattern.
Any questions? Any comments from the public? All right, with that, Roger.
I'll give you a motion to continue the ANRAD for 47 Partridge Street to February 20th at 7:11.
All right,
Vote to continue?
well, let's get a second.
Second.
All right,
Vote to continue?
Continue.
Continue?
all right, vote to continue. Thank you. All right, so now we'll open up the NOI for 100, 102 Panther Way. Do we have anybody here from Panther Way?
No, they did request a continuance to March 6th.
Right.
But I do have an update for the commission that I did conduct a site visit with the applicant. They were able to stake out, some of the stakes were not in the ground, but they were able to put stakes out where the path was going to be. If you recall, it's just a dead-ended trail in the woods. So they did avoid, they want to limit the work that they have to do, so they did avoid large trees and ledge and boulders. There are small saplings in the way. I asked them to identify 3-inch TBH. I took the liberty of saying that.
Okay.
So they'll be doing that, but they are also, in front of the planning board, and planning board may change the location of the path. So that's why they're continued out for so long.
Yeah.
So I would recommend continuing.
Is the changing of the path, is that to minimize, or like a redesign, not a redesign, but just a look at a better way of
So the
routing?
path is an amenity for the 55 plus. So, I don't know their terminology, but it is to sweeten the pot, so to speak, that there's something available to, residents that would live there, or a feature, so to speak. So that's why you would usually see a pickleball court or something, other than, people wanting to make it a nice living space, that aside.
So just improvement quality of life, or something
Exactly.
like recreational, okay.
Yep, but that could change based on if planning board decides to reduce building. Like, I have no idea what they might require of the applicant. That may shift that path, that may eliminate that path. I am leaving that up to planning board, since it's ultimately their decision if they approve of that being an improvement.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
yeah. So this is up for planning board currently
Yep.
as well, and
Yep.
Yeah.
so it's gonna be coming back to us,
Ex-
or
yeah,
based on what their discussions are.
Yep, and it's very de minimis in nature. They're even gonna revegetate it, so it's really just it's a dead end path in the woods.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Any other questions? No? Any comments or questions from the public on 102 Panther Way? All right, Roger, I think you're up, right? Or no, maybe we just did. Roger did. Nicole, you want to give us a motion to continue the NOI? We're going to go all the way to March 6th on this one.
Offer a continuance for an NOI for 100 to 102 Panther Way till March 6th at 7:12 PM.
Second,
All right,
vote to continue.
Continue.
Continue?
vote to continue. Excellent. All right, now we're on to some MBZA's. We've got a minor buffer zone activity for Cranberry Drive. Rika Live, looks like we had some administrative approval for something that needed to be done, so you want to give us a quick.
Yeah, so 3 trees had fallen
Never good.
between you can see the photos up there,
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
the fence.
Yeah.
So that's an easy one. So I gave administrative approval to cut it and segment it off the fence. And then they actually just left the downwoods and the root balls where they are, just as it would be naturally if it fell. They did have to remove some saplings to get in to be able to cut it. But I would recommend ratification of the MBTA.
Yeah. Yeah. Any questions?
Nope.
All right.
Didn't make a sound?
They actually do. I was at the town forest and I watched a tree fall and it made a sound.
Okay, great.
But maybe that's because I was there, right?
That's what I was gonna say, depends on who's there, you know?
I have no further questions.
Excellent question. All right, Louis, you're up. Approval for the MBZA for Cranberry Drive, motion for that?
I motion for approval for the MBZA for 3 Cranberry Drive.
Nice.
Motion to approve, second that motion.
Second, all right.
Vote to approve?
Approve.
Approve?
Vote to approve. All right, and then we've got an MBZA for 35 Stewart Street. Rika Lai.
Okay. The applicant's not here. Typically, they do come for BZAs. I defer to the commission if you would like to approve it without their attendance or not. But this is a construction of a shed with a gravel foundation within the buffer zone 50 to 100 to BBW and Inland Bank, adjacent an existing paved driveway. My recommendation was that you confirm if any tree, sapling, or shrub removal is required and or leveling, considering this is the location that they would like to place the shed.
So nobody here from the, doesn't look like anybody's left. Well, maybe a couple people, no.
And then if leveling is proposed, I would suggest that the commission consider erosion controls. It could even just be burlap rolled up.
So I'd really like to see what's going on here, yeah.
That's fine, I can reach out to them.
Yeah, I think we continue.
Yeah.
All right.
So is this the only information? It's just this photo showing where that's gonna be, like no, like a, not a full site plan, but just
Oh,
something,
yes.
something
Yeah,
that
not a-
shows where proximity wise it's gonna be.
I have a picture,
'Cause it-
a base map that I have them drawn and email, but I can show you. I can pull it up on GIS real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing else, huh?
That's
Yeah,
off Chestnut, right?
It looks like it's near, is it like a driveway?
Yeah,
It's-
look-
it's-
Acorn Extension.
Yeah, okay.
so it looks like you guys
That's
gonna
the
put
old,
it right next to the driveway, right? I think
Yeah.
what- Yeah.
And then, let me turn this
It'd be tough to tell if that's just brush or like.
Is it just
It is.
yard clippings that get
on. Right,
thrown in
and
there?
if it's an actual slope and they're not, even if they're leveling and there's still a ridge there, that's fine, that's an erosion control, right?
Yeah.
But it's right in
Yeah.
here.
Okay. And there's a, that is stream to the. right
That
there.
is,
Okay.
yep, then there's well in here.
So what was the distance between the?
It's within the 50 to 100.
50 to 100?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Yep, yep,
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
there you go.
That's X flood zone, that's non-jurisdictional. And then it extends up in here,
Hmm.
so. Defer to you.
Can you switch to the layer for the GIS layer, the image, instead of like current, I think if you do
Instead of
like.
the base map?
Yeah, if you do like the 2023, it shows it with like without foliage. There you go, so that's it.
Mhm.
I play around with this a lot.
Mhm.
So it kind of shows what's,
Leaf off
What
is
up?
important.
yeah.
Shows a lot.
It shows a lot.
It's a
Yeah.
relief in the spring.
Big brother can't watch you now. They don't know.
Not anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's,
there's a
that's just a
10-foot.
contour then,
Yeah.
that's just, so it's
a
a,
10-foot.
okay. So, but the shed is gonna be right, yeah, kind of to the, where it slopes down. So that's a hill.
So he's at the base of it, yeah. So that is looking, that's not just clippings and whatnot, there's actually a
Yep.
grade there.
Okay,
Okay.
that looks, okay, now I get a better story, understanding of what
Mhm.
Yeah,
it
that's
is now.
helpful.
They just need to clarify.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be good if they could come in and, yeah,
Sounds
talk,
good.
talk about level, I mean, hard to believe there's not leveling, it won't be needed, but I just want to
Yeah.
hear it in the trees, so that'd be good. Okay,
Sounds good to me.
What was the dimension of that shed?
190 square feet.
So it's less than the,
It's a small shed.
what you would need for,
It's an NDZA.
okay, cool. It's a good size.
all
I
right.
can give administrative approval, but ultimately it still has to be ratified by the commission. So unless it's an emergency shed, I just say you still have to come in front of the commission.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, good call.
That's cool.
So I guess continuance on that?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Sorry, I did the last one.
I think, well, no, wait, yeah.
I can do it. I make a motion to continue the MBZA for 35 Stewart Street.
Second. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Too
no, that's
fast.
it, that's it, yep.
No date?
You don't have to with the
Okay.
MBZA, it's not a public hearing, so.
Second then.
Well, let's continue.
Continue.
Continue?
All right, vote to continue, it is continue. All right, then we have a COC for 7 Briarwood Road. Doesn't look like we have anybody left, so I'm assuming nobody's here from Briarwood Road. This is a little complex.
This one's been around a while.
Well, yes, been around since 1996, Roger.
Well, yes, but they're recently trying to clear it up.
So, Regal, you wanna? All right, so here's what we've got. So we have a property that was sold, right? And as part of the process, it was uncovered, it sometimes happens that there was a open COC from 1996. And the sellers, or the buyers requested the sellers put some money in escrow against getting that COC approved. In the meantime, it was discovered that there was a second occupancy certificate that was never filed for a new septic system. So the issue is, so at this point, the sellers are asking us to clear the COC on the 1996, a historical one, which we would typically do, right, because it's that far back. But the problem is we've got the septic system that was never filed. I think a good recommendation would be you've got money in escrow against the 96 one. Would be reluctant to clear that and let the escrow go, and then the septic system might never be filed and cleared. And we just don't know we don't even know what the implications are of the 96 one. So I think a reasonable proposal would be is that we deny the COC, which is on the 1996 one tonight, request that the seller come back with COC on both situations and lay them both out, and we view the whole thing as a complete certificate of occupancy, or certificate of completion, sorry, for a compliance for that, for the whole package. Just hate to do it piecemeal, particularly get the old one, and then who knows what's going to happen with the current one, right? It's kind of our responsibility to make sure that certificate of compliance happens for the septic system. I hate to say it this way, but we lose all leverage
Yeah.
if we.
Do we know when the septic, is this 96 also?
No, it's much, I don't know that we have a date.
This was the one that was approved in November.
The septic,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the,
Mm-hmm.
who approved it?
You did?
But I thought you just said. it
So,
was-
But they never filed for the certificate of compliance.
Oh, okay, so.
yes, and
They
there's,
filed to have it done, but just never
yes,
finished.
so
Yes.
if you
Oh, sorry.
recall, this is the one that they also came in for, and then they were in non-compliance with the order of conditions. So they have sent emails, trying to backdate retroactively the information. You know, they installed straw bottles, you conditioned biodegradable. I never went out and inspected them. I never got the letter from the engineer. I never got an email noting that they were starting work. So administrative, right, big, large-scale wetland impacts avoided, but the area also hasn't been reseeded, it hasn't been stabilized. So there are
Yeah.
still outstanding current issues, and there's historical precedents across all Concons that if there are current issues with an open order of conditions, it's ill-advised to release a
Sure.
previous order of condition.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we
Yeah,
have the
makes sense.
COC to make sure all that stuff we asked for was done,
Sure.
right? And so at any rate, so.
So at this point, you're just waiting for stabilization.
Right.
Yep.
So the recommendation would be to deny the COC that's before us today, ask them to come back, which we're doing now, with a filing for the septic system certificate of compliance. We'll take a look at them both we'll determine on each of them separately, we'd like to see them coming together. And make sure, and as part of that, to Rico Li's point, we want to make sure all the orders of condition have been fulfilled to get that COC. So, a few steps we're looking to accomplish here procedurally that seem to make sense if we do it.
Yeah. And they've been in communication as far as where they're like close to it, like they've been vigilant.
I think, I would probably take this is a starting point where they now are gonna realize that they have to communicate better and take further action to handle the
Right.
septic system project, if that's what you're asking.
Yes, yeah.
I don't wanna speak for Rico Li, but I'm not sure, what do we do?
So the,
I guess,
the seller and the seller attorney knew late November and early December that there were issues.
Yeah, so.
So I have that in email, and I've
Okay.
been outlining that for the past 2 months.
okay.
So they are well aware. However, at this point, because I've had 3 separate law offices contact me, everything is happening at a public meeting at this point, and I've been advised not to contact
Right.
anyone above and beyond board. It
Okay.
has to come
Okay.
through this
All right.
office.
So that's why we want them to come in
Yeah,
and
that's-
address it.
Yeah, let them,
Yeah.
see where the.
100%, which is the right way.
And yeah,
I mean, we're all here when we approved it, we've got the, you know, the orders and conditions that were on there, I want to make sure those are filled, so just checking all the boxes.
okay, yes.
I agree with that.
Okay. So with that, we'll look for a motion to deny the certificate of compliance. Rod, do you want to give me that?
I'll give you a motion to deny the certificate of compliance for, let's see, it was 7 Briarwood.
All right,
Motion to deny.
or second,
Second,
Bart?
deny.
Deny.
Deny. Okay, denied. All right, so now we're on to violations and enforcement. But, I know. So, Union Street, there is progress going on, so that's the good news of working with the state. You know, it makes sense to keep it in place, but,
Yeah.
you know, it's not at a standstill anymore. We rely on any further reliance. I think we're, so take Nicole, you can make Richard proud and give us a recommendation to extend the violation enforcement for 305 Union Street for 30 days.
So I recommend the extension of the violation for 305 Union Street
For 30 days.
for 30 days.
Perfect.
Second.
All right,
Vote to extend?
vote to extend.
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 All right, and it is extended. All right, so then we're on to the Prospect Street situation. And so we've got a situation where we probably, just with a small quorum tonight, ought to drop it potentially tonight and wait till Richard and Jeff and Mike are back, and then we can review all the pertinent information, and we can make a decision to put the violation and enforcement in place again at that point, but without everybody here, it didn't make sense to necessarily continue that recommendation.
Actually, my recommendation is to vote to
Right.
relieve the enforcement
Yeah,
order. So
yes.
you're dropping the previous one.
Right.
Because I know commissioners will watch it, so the case was in his favor, so we settled on dropping it without prejudice, mainly because it's a shared municipal lot. And while I did have conversations with 2 people at DEP about the legality of the Franklin Conservation Commission issuing an enforcement order, even though work is also on the Bellingham side, because I don't have it in writing, dropped without prejudice. However, even Mr. Petrosi's attorney suggested and said that if he was my counsel, he would suggest reissuing it at a later date. So I would drop it now because I can't keep issuing tickets for something that was dropped. And then you can discuss amongst yourselves at a later date to reissue or not. So.
Questions? Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
All right, so Louis, so you get to, motion to, relieve and drop the enforcement order without precedence on Prospect, 00 Prospect Street.
Is it precedence or prejudice?
Prejudice.
Oh, I'm sorry, not precedent, prejudice.
Really?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I give a motion to recommend relieving the enforcement order without prejudice for 00 Prospect Street.
All right,
Second.
Vote to relieve.
yep, vote to relieve.
Vote to relieve.
Vote to relieve.
All right, perfect. All right. We got the minutes, I looked through them.
I did too.
Anything you guys saw, any comments?
I have nothing to comment. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So motion to approve the minutes, Roger?
I give you a motion to approve the minutes for the January 23rd, 2025 meeting.
Got a second?
Second,
All right. No?
vote to approve.
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 Vote to approve. All right, this is something new that we thought was a good idea, was to put in, tonight being four of us here, is a scheduling conflict conversation. And I actually asked that we put this on the agenda every meeting, so we can just talk about anything anybody has coming up. You know, we've got a schedule out there on the Google Drive we look to fill in, but I just think it's easier if we talk about it. You know, there's conflicts to come up. Something that we haven't done lately, but we used to do way back when Pat Gallagher was the chair, if we had a bunch of people that were gonna be missing, we'd actually change the date of the meeting, right? If you got enough notice, you know, move it to a Wednesday night, right? Not optimum to move it around a lot, but better than missing the quorum, right? I mean, thank goodness, I mean, 4 is the quorum. If one of us had, you know, not been able to make it, we couldn't have opened the meeting tonight. So, you know, just to call out, you know, one thing to think about is, you know, vacation time. You know, typically you're gonna know that way in advance. You know, maybe as soon as you know, if you know it's gonna be a conflict, let us know and then we can capture it, and that way we're just making sure we're not missing a quorum. I don't know if I know, Roger, you called something out earlier, thanks, you're gonna miss, I think it was,
The next meeting.
yeah, the 20th, right?
I'd like to, I'm not ruling out 100% that I might attend remotely, but it's been highly poo-pooed by the family, so.
I'll tell you a funny story about that later. So, all right. Louis, anything you can think of coming, and you can answer next meeting too, right?
Yeah.
But just, you know, this isn't designed to put you on the spot today, but if you have something we'd like to know, but just for all of us, right? Every time we meet, hey, is anything coming up that we need to know about, we can just put it forward.
Yes. No, that's, no, good points. You know, I think that's, I think it's fair as far as having, a heads up schedule, especially, you know, and also, just to make sure that we have enough quorum in here.
Yeah.
And then also, Fabrica-wise, you
Yeah.
know,
Be
duties
fair to
as
her,
well.
right? And applicants, and things come up, right? I mean, we get that, so.
Read the line.
Well, I didn't want to step in front of you, Nicole, if you had
Oh,
comments too.
Okay.
Two things. I don't know if you noticed at the top of the agent report, I put a 0 marker for
Yeah.
scheduling. I figured we could have the discussion about scheduling conflicts tonight, but ideally, it would happen before public hearings, so you know when to continue. So
even
then
better.
retroactively,
Excellent point. Ooh. look at that.
so
All
I
right.
put that up there. If you're okay with that, we can keep it up there.
That is a good idea.
To give some context, the timeframes for public hearings, the reason why they fall 1 minute after another is because you just can't open a public hearing before that time. So instead of scheduling 7:25 and having to take a recess, it's just 1 minute increments. So it's kind of fluff. It's a way to get around it right, because generally, no public hearing is gonna take 1 minute.
I didn't know that. That's good.
So putting the scheduling at the top doesn't change
Yeah.
that 1 minute
Okay.
increment. And then I wanted to remind everybody that our 2025 schedule is on the website. If you don't have it, if you need me to print it out for you, if you need me to email it for you, just let me know. But we have everything posted and it's finalized the October, November before the following year. So any one of you 7 should be able to go to that calendar and you can have all of our meeting dates. So you can schedule accordingly. And that's all I have.
So, good communication. So I think that'll help us all out. Looks like Friends of Franklin.
I did have one question, go back on that.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
On the scheduling here, you talked about that we should announce when, if we're gonna be missing the next meeting.
Just the next
Or,
meeting.
okay,
Yep,
2 weeks out, so, okay.
yep. And then, you know, at the end, if you wanna
Yeah.
give me more dates in real time, that's fine. But ideally, it's just knowing when to continue. So for example, like I will say, let's say one of the commissioners I know is going to be out for an extended amount of time and will miss 220. And then 3 of you also say, I'm going to be gone 220. Well, right there, we need 4 members. We have a 7-member board. You take
Right.
away 4 of them, you're left with 3, you don't have a quorum.
Okay, no, I
So
understood
then we
that.
could say, all right, let's reschedule real quick or continue everybody out to March 6th.
Okay.
Yep.
Just,
So a little bit more quick thinking
I was
for
kinda-
perhaps
no, I was
Mark,
kinda
Jeff, and
looking at more
myself, but.
of a, like, more like a privacy thing, because like, if we have like if I have a vacation or something, it's like, I'm gonna miss because of a vacation.
You can just say you're just gonna miss it.
Okay,
I would assume that it's probably a vacation if you're telling me 2 weeks in advance,
okay.
unless it's a scheduled surgery, which no one needs to know, right? Like you just say, I'm not gonna be there at 2:20.
Okay.
That's a good point though, Louis.
It's,
Yeah, you know, we don't,
like,
we
you know,
we're gonna be away.
Yeah, especially, you know, that, yeah, if you announce, if you're gonna be away and, you know.
Well, then we could change it and just say, I and your leadership need an email before the
Well,
meeting.
Well, I think it's okay to say you're just gonna miss the meeting.
That, if you're comfortable with that, that's fine. You don't need to provide a reason.
Okay,
You're just
Yep.
not gonna be there.
then that's, okay, yeah.
That's all.
And if you prefer, we can do it via email. I mean, we want everybody to be comfortable. This is discussion, right? I mean,
Yeah.
all we want is to try to communicate, so.
Sure.
You know,
Absolutely.
Just-
And no, I'm up for communication, yeah, and early as well, so. yeah.
okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, good call out on that though. All right. All right, anything else? Okay. Looks like, nothing for Friends of Franklin, nothing for Master Plan, nothing for National Resource Protection Manager. What?
I'm gonna skip out of order real quick while I find what I'm
Okay.
looking for. So the CRWA Charles River Watershed update, is only that the action plan for the climate compact came out. I did post it on LinkedIn, but you can go to their webpage and it's a 16-page summary or a 56-page action plan. And it discusses all of the goals that we've outlined as a climate compact and then equitable goals from the equity action team across the watershed for the next 5 years. And I can send that to you digitally if you'd like as well.
Yeah,
Please.
And then going back to MAC, always trying to set you guys up for success, right? MAC redid their website. Their resource library is much more intuitive and visually pleasing now. So they have, words are very difficult for me at this point in my life. They have sections and they've organized all of their resources into, for example, like conservation commissions, you know, administration, open space preservation, wetlands regulation, climate change resources. So I definitely suggest going in here. If you have questions as well, I'm always a resource, but you know, this is also your network and things that other commissions have put together. I even find myself sometimes popping in here, especially for templates. Something else I wanted to call out was member resources. So you should all have a login, right? They have a helpline. I don't know any, well, I guess I could click learn more. I don't know anything about it. When they're available, how quick, you know, they are to respond. Perhaps one of you can try it out and let me know. But that would always be a good resource for you. Remember, MAC definitely comes into play for commissions that don't have staff. So that is what they're set up to support. So feel free to utilize them for that. And then for education as well, unfortunately, they only have previous recordings for the past couple years. But you can go to education and then lunch and learns, and then you can find webinars for a lot of on a lot of topics. One of which, for example, I know they had one on GIS. It's not on here.
Oh.
Right. But Riverfront Area and the Wetlands Protection Act, 11/9/2019. So if you wanted to have some more continuing education for that, and then unfortunately I can't pull this up on here, but I am also consistently adding presentations to your commissioner's info on the Google Drive. I don't know if you get notifications for that, like I've uploaded something, but if you go to commissioner's info, it's a parent folder in Conservation Commission, and then you'll see child folders of presentations or regulatory updates. I'm constantly feeding information in there for you to have your own hub of continuing education. Unfortunately, it's not super comprehensive since I only started it about 1.5 years ago. But be sure to check that out. And then if you attend, you know, a webinar that you get a recording or a slide deck for, just send it my way and I'll pop it in there.
Oh, I got a couple.
Perfect. Like I'll just load it right into there. So it's a passion project of mine that I've been trying to build for you guys and then future commissioners. So that's all I have.
Yeah, good stuff. I guess not only did Franklin update their website, but Mac did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, our website, it looks nice. Has anybody had a chance to look at the new website?
Yeah,
I've been in
Yeah.
there a little bit.
yeah.
Good. And then for reference, 2025 hearing schedule with deadlines. Link to PDF.
Mhm.
There they are.
There it is.
Like Jamie Helen says, everything you need to know is on this website, you just have to look for it.
I know, it's okay. I mean, at least you're not applicants asking me where it is, because, and I will put this on record, nothing is more of a pet peeve for me when an applicant asks me for something that's right at the top of our webpage. So.
Understandably so.
I go, here's the link, you click it. So, that's all I got.
Sounds good. Anybody heading over to the MAC? This
The conference,
Yeah,
I am.
next month. Cool.
I will not be there, so.
I got a conflict, unfortunately.
Okay. Didn't know if I was going solo, but glad I have company now.
Michael registered too. Yeah, so it'll be you four.
All right.
So that'll be good.
Cool.
But I only think there's only 2 of you that are in the same classes. You all chose different classes. So
Okay.
that was fun.
Trying to mix it up here.
That was fun for me to register you all different.
It was hard
We don't think
figuring
alike.
out.
That's good.
It'd be interesting to find out which ones
Yeah.
we've registered for. If I can remember.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, right. Well, thanks. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great resource. Good.
I think so
website.
too, yeah. And then there's another DEP one coming out soon. Because I don't think you guys get the DEP one. I think I have to forward that one to you when they have their brown bags, correct?
Yes.
This year, the networking? Okay, good. Yeah, I looked at their email list and I didn't see you guys, and I don't know why they would have your email, so they just send it right to me and then I forward it. Then there's the UNH, SNHU, their, plant identification in winter that came out.
So was that online or was it in person?
That's in person. It's in
Okay.
Portsmouth.
Yeah.
It's so hard that they offer so much, but
Offer a
it's
lot.
just,
I know.
it's not really convenient
I know.
to get to them.
So as I keep getting the emails, I'll just keep ferrying them off to you. That's all I got.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're wrapped. Can we get a motion to close?
Motion to close.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All right,
Motion to close.
vote closed.
Close.
Close.
All right, good job.
Thank you.
Hey, I never noticed this before.
I was